Hiya, I'm Leanne and I'm a lesbian. I've been a lesbian ever since I was a little girl, although I didn't actually know it. So, as a child, I used to read magazines, probably early teens, and they were, those girly gossip type magazines. And I remember reading articles about my mum is a lesbian, or I'm gay and nobody knows it, or I don't know how to come out. And I used to feel really sorry for these people and think, gosh, that must be so hard. And I'm so glad that I'm not a lesbian, not realizing at the time that I was one. I used to have boyfriends at school and they were fine, although I would never kiss them. So these poor boys, I just couldn't bring myself to kissing them. There was something weird in my head about boys wanting to kiss me and the way they kissed, and they used to come in and leer over you as they were trying to kiss you, and it just really put me off. So as soon as it got to the kissing part, I would run away and dump the boys. So I was probably very confusing at that time, and obviously quite confused. Throughout that time, there were definitely two girls that I was completely in love with. So there's a girl in primary school and a girl in secondary school who I thought we were best friends, but I was obviously, most definitely the girl in secondary school, I was definitely in love with her. But I didn't know. I just thought the feelings that I was feeling for her were I just wanting to be her best friend. I didn't realise that they were actually feelings of love and possibly lust. So it's probably around, I was probably about 15 or 16 when I stayed the night at her house, and I remember not getting any sleep at all because she was lying in the bed next to me, and all I could think about was I just wanted to kiss her, and I had no idea why. And so I think at that time I was beginning to get a few little hints that I was gay, but I still carried on dating boys and still carried on avoiding kissing them, and in the end I started going for boys that were unobtainable, and then ended up getting them and then still running away. So I don't know what that was about. A weird phase in my life. When I went to uni, I met a woman. Well, I met a girl, so she was young. We were both about 18. She was a friend of a friend, and she was gay, and for some reason she had the confidence to kind of seduce me in a way. So she seduced me, and we ended up together as girlfriends, and she was wonderful. So I was with her for 3 years, and she really introduced me to the delights of being a lesbian. I'm not going to go into them now, but I'm so grateful to her for making me realise that that's what I was. So all this wasting my time trying to go for boyfriends and running away from them, at least now I knew at uni finally that I was a lesbian. But coming out to my parents was quite hard. So they had no inkling that I could possibly be a lesbian. There were no signs, and I don't know if there should be signs for being a lesbian. In those days, most lesbians used to have short hair and be quite tomboyish. And in those days, I used to be, well, I've always been very girly. I've always had long hair. I've always worn makeup, played with dolls, loved pink, especially pink sparkly things, worn dresses. I've never had anything about me that was tomboyish. I've never had my hair cut short. So my parents had no actual traditional warnings that I could be a lesbian. So for a while we fell out, but we've very much rebuilt our relationship now, so there's no problems now. But that was a very difficult time in my life. When I came home from university, I was at university in London, and I split up with my girlfriend at the time, and I moved to Devon. So moved back in with my parents in Devon, and I was really worried that there didn't seem to be that many lesbians around, and I didn't know how I was going to get out there and meet any. I tried going to the local gay bar, and they wouldn't let me in, which was a bit odd. There was a bouncer on the door, And she said, no, you're far too femme to be gay. And she was really quite nasty and tried to get me to kiss her to prove that I was a lesbian. Obviously, I didn't do that, and I didn't go back again for a couple of years, at which point I had friends to go in with, so I was with a crowd, so that was a lot easier. So when I moved in with my parents, I started looking at classified adverts in newspapers, because at the time internet wasn't so widely available, and it didn't really occur to me to think there might be online dating sites. I met a couple of girls through these newspaper classified ads, and ended up having a long-term girlfriend. And my parents really accepted this girl and welcomed her into the family. And in fact, she lived with us for a bit while we were trying to find a house to rent. And she used to cook, and my mum used to really like her. So that went really well. And it was great that my parents were more accepting of me being gay and of my partners as well. So when I split up with her, that's when I discovered Gaydar Girls. And I dated quite a lot of girls from Gaydar Girls and had a couple of really fun years where I was free, single, and enjoying the dating scene. And it was good fun. So despite my initial feelings about gay clubs not welcoming me because I was too femme, at that point, that's when I started accepting myself for being femme and actually enjoying being a bit different to all the other girls. So my profile at the time was Swanky, because you used to have to make up names for your profile. And people used to know me. So randomly, when I was at Brighton Pride, Birmingham Pride, London Pride, Exeter, people used to say, hey, you're Swanky, aren't you? And it was really odd because I never thought I would ever be someone who was on the scene, but clearly at the time I was, and having fun. And I loved prides in those days. But it's strange because it was like I was living two different lives. I was at work, I wasn't out to anybody. And if anyone ever asked if I had a boyfriend, because they were assuming that I was straight, I would always say no, I don't, even if I did have a girlfriend at the time. Or I would say yes and make up a random name like Lee or Sam that could be for either sex. And I'm really ashamed I did that, and sad that I felt that I had to hide that aspect of me. I started working with some disengaged young people, and they were disadvantaged, disengaged, having a really rubbish time. And there were a lot of issues with homophobia at the time with them. So they used to say homophobic comments like, that's so gay, or oh, you're a lesbian. What? And it was difficult. But at that time, I really felt like it was a time for me to come out. So I came out as gay to them. And I'm really glad I did, because that's when we were able to start tackling the homophobic comments. And it's when I became a bit of a role model for these young people. So I ended up gaining their respect, which was amazing. And in fact, quite a few of them started coming out. And I feel like I was able to help them with that, and to help them feel like it was okay to come out and they could be who they were and be proud of who they were as well. And I think that I actually helped them feel stronger and more confident about it. So other than the time when I fell out with my parents, there were no major issues with homophobia for me. There was one time when I came out of a gay bar and we were approached by a group of very drunk men. I was with a group of straight friends, and they were like, you're gay, aren't you? And one of my friends pointed at me and said, no, but she is. At which point I was the one that had all the leery, nasty comments directed at me, and they were getting quite, physical, like men coming up and getting a bit horrible. Luckily I managed to get through that unscathed. There were no issues there other than the fact that I wasn't very happy with my friend for being outed to a place where actually I felt really unsafe. So she actually put me at risk by outing me, and that wasn't appreciated, so it's a shame she did that. In fact, I've had more issues with other lesbians. So I've had issues with trying to join LGBT societies and them being quite cliquey and me feeling like I don't belong there, or trying to get into gay clubs and not being allowed because I was too femme. Lipstick lesbian, that's what they used to call me. And at the time, yes, I did consider shaving my hair. I considered dressing differently, maybe getting a few piercings or tattoos. But I'm so glad I didn't, because actually I'm really proud of who I am and happy in my own skin. And what has really helped me become happy in my own skin is Pilates. So I've done Pilates for about 3 years and now I'm a teacher. So I teach Pilates, I've set up my own business, and I have had mobility issues, and these classes have really helped me kind of overcome these issues. So I may still have some mobility issues. I've got a disability, I always will have. Yes, I'm gay, yes, I'm overweight, but Pilates has helped me feel much happier in my own body. It's made me feel more confident. And even, I'm now even happy just to say that I have a girlfriend. So my gorgeous girlfriend comes to my classes. She supports me massively. She helps me with the heavy lifting, takes photos. She's just been an absolute inspiration, and I'm proud to have her there in my classes. And yes, I've had funny looks sometimes, and some of the older generation find it difficult, and they say random things like, "Oh, I know a homosexual. I know one of them," and they find it quite interesting that I'm gay. But they've all been very accepting of me, and so all my clients have just been fabulous. And my clients come from all walks of life. So some are overweight, some have mobility issues or disabilities, some are older, I have younger clients, and I have clients who are gay, lesbian, straight, trans. I have a whole range of clients, and they do feel comfortable coming to the classes, and we're like a little community together. So I'm hoping that I'm not only helping myself become a lot more confident about who I am, but also helping everybody feel more comfortable in their own skin and feel so much stronger and braver to be who they are as a result. So if you are at all interested in joining Pilates, I would love it if you would join us. I teach Mobilates, and the company is mobilates.co.uk. All right, take care everyone. Bye.